Hey everybody, this is Darren Van Damme from the Flick Connection channel, and today I want to give you 10 really great hidden gems you can currently watch on Netflix. So these are going to be movies that may even have big stars in them, but that didn't get a wide release and didn't really get a lot of notice when they came out, and have really remained sort of hidden on Netflix. Maybe you've even seen the title cards and just haven't watched them because there's no buzz about them. They're all really great watches, starting with my number 10 pick, A Most Violent Year, which actually stars Oscar Isaac and Jessica Chastain. It's based on a true story. It takes place in the 80s, and it's based on a guy who is not in the mob, but is a businessman, and he's tied maybe a little too closely to the mob, and things do not pan out very well for him as he's trying to grow his business. It's beautifully shot, really well told, albeit because it's based on a true story, not necessarily the most gripping movie on the list. We'll get to some of those in a minute, but still just a really great movie nonetheless. Now for what will be my only Netflix original movie on this list, Shimmer Lake really got overlooked when it came out. No one really noticed that it was a Netflix original. It came out before a lot of their big ones did, and Netflix really was not pushing their originals at the time. It took me a long time to come around to this one, but it's a really great little movie about a small town where a bank robbery takes place, and the movie is told in reverse order. Not quite like Memento, where every scene is in reverse, but every day is in reverse. So you go through an entire week, day by day, backwards, and they have nice little gimmicks and stuff in the mix to sort of keep you engaged with that element, but that is much more than just a gimmick. It's actually the perfect way to tell the story that they tell you. It works out really well. I was really surprised at how much I liked this one, and even more surprised at the fact that nobody's talking about it. The Hollow Point is another gritty little movie about a small town on the border in Texas where local law enforcement is trying to stop the moving of counterfeit or subpar ammo back and forth across the border, which is basically fueling the cartel. So this one gets really gritty, really raw, and I've said it on my channel before, but I think fans of Breaking Bad will really find a lot of things to love about this one. It's got a great cast. It's really well acted, obviously. It's a beautiful movie. Just like A Most Violent Year, it's got some like storytelling flaws that sort of just like fell apart a little bit for me. Doesn't ruin the movie, but that's probably the reason you didn't already know about this gem. Now, The Hollow Point was sort of a modern Western. It definitely takes place in modern day, but The Salvation is a classic Western, but it too has a really great cast, really great Western theme. It was actually filmed in South Africa, so it's beautiful, and it looks a little bit off compared to like the American West landscape, but don't let that throw you. It makes for a beautiful setting for this story. And this is just a classic Western story. That's what I mean by a classic Western. Small town, bad guys are running things. There's another guy that wants to stop them, and there's revenge aspects and shootouts and just really great stuff. And then the way this movie concluded, I don't want to give anything away about the end other than to tell you it's sort of like subverted some classic Western themes and is very much like a postmodern Western in the vein of like Unforgiven or something. Now, is it as good as Unforgiven? No, you would have heard about it if it was that good, but still a very good little Western movie, and if you've never seen it, I think you're going to be shocked you never heard about this one. If you like this type of content, definitely click that subscribe button and be sure to click the little bell icon so you get notifications as new videos on this channel come out. You can also check out my channel, which is called Flick Connection. I put out content like this all the time over there. My number 6 pick is called Mojave, and this also stars Oscar Isaac and is a really great little tense thriller written by the same guy who wrote, or at least the adaptation of The Departed. So really, really well written, almost a little maybe too highbrow at times. You've got a couple of guys trying to outsmart each other. It's really, really smart. It's beautifully shot. I really, really like this one. I've watched it a couple of times. Another one that just, if you want to watch a well-acted thriller that you just is not even on your radar, Mojave might be the first one you want to watch off this list. Now for a little change of pace, I've got a sci-fi movie called The Signal. Now there are a couple of movies called The Signal, but this one actually stars Lawrence Fishburne, and it's about a young man who is trying to track down a hacker. a hacker that's like been playing games with him, almost like the Matrix, but then he wakes up in this facility in a hospital gown, and he has no idea why he's there. He doesn't know how to get out, and the movie itself starts to become this puzzle. Now, to me, this one felt almost like a Twilight Zone episode or something. Like, I liked it that much. One of the reasons I liked it so much is it kept changing. Like, as soon as I felt like I understood where we were going and what was happening, something completely different, like a monkey wrench, would just get thrown in the story, and we're going in a different direction. I really, really had a good time with that one. That said, the less you know about this one, beyond what I just told you, the better. Bad Day for the Cut is a great little revenge thriller from Ireland. And what makes this one so great is it's not like anything else that you've really seen. The guy going out for revenge is in his 60s. Now, yes, we have seen that before in other movies, but his mother is killed. So his 80-something-year-old mother is killed in the beginning of the movie. He just blindly starts going after the guys that did it. Think like almost like Taken, except it's his mother and she's dead, and he's got a shotgun, and the movie's rated R, so they can do much, much rougher stuff than they can get away with in Taken. That's all I really need to say about this one. The setting's great. It's shot beautifully, really well acted. Really, really great antagonist on this one. So if this sounds like you at all, I'll shut up and just let you watch it. Now, one of the more odd picks on this list is Too Late. Now, this is a little neo-noir movie starring John Hawkes, who's one of my favorite actors working today. I just think he's great in everything that he's in, and Too Late is no exception. But he is a private detective. The interesting thing about this one is each scene is a very, very long take. And it was shot on, I think, like 35mm film, so they had these long canisters so they could do these long 10, 12-minute takes. Cool technical stuff, but that said, it plays out almost like a play because the camera never cuts. You're just in the setting with the actors as this thing plays out. So it's kind of a gimmick, but it's also just kind of a cool way to watch this movie. And then beyond what we'll call the gimmick, it's a really good story. It's really well acted. And the story unveils and reveals itself very slowly. So you have to get into it. And I hate to say it, but you are going to have to forgive what I consider to be some horrible acting by at least one, if not two, of the primary cast members. Look past it because the movie itself is really, really fantastic, which is why I've got it ranked so high on this list. Now, the next one on this list is one of my favorite movies currently on Netflix. I absolutely love it. It's called The Invitation. It's about a guy who goes to a dinner party, reluctantly goes to a dinner party at his ex-wife's house. She's acting weird, her friends are weird, her boyfriend or whatever he is are acting weird, and the main character starts to be concerned for his safety and the safety of some of the other partygoers. There's like a culty vibe. He doesn't know if he's just suffering from like jealousy and if he's imagining things or if something's really happening. And you as a viewer are not going to know throughout the entirety of the movie. You're going to go back and forth like, yes, they're up to something. No, they're not. Yes. And the movie wraps up in a way I certainly did not expect. So I loved it. I've watched it multiple times and it is worth multiple viewings. And Nicole Kidman's next movie coming out this December called Destroyer. They just dropped a trailer. It looks incredible. It's the same director as The Invitation. An even better reason to go ahead and watch it now. Cannot recommend this movie enough. However, my number one pick, Cold in July, is one of the most underrated Texas thrillers. And yes, that's a genre. Think No Country for Old Men, things like that. It's very much like those movies. Maybe not quite as good as some of those masterpieces, but still very, very good. Great cast. Don Johnson even makes this really weird, sort of flamboyant cowboy sort of appearance. Just like The Signal, it kept changing. I'm like, oh, it's going to be this type of movie. We're going in this direction. And then it would zag, and then it would zig, and it just kept... I never really knew... I mean, I did ultimately get grounded, and I went along with the movie, but... so much happens. Like, it's this small little movie about a small town and a crime, and a guy gets wrapped up in it and then gets wrapped up with the father or somebody, and it's got all these moving parts, but they all flow together. They all work really well. it is a crime that this movie is not more talked about, not more watched. Hopefully we can change that with this video. Like it, share it, comment, but let me know in the comments below what movies you will be watching from this list. But I'm going to keep making videos for this channel as long as you keep watching them. But thanks for checking this one out, and you might see me on the next one.